Coleman grew up in the Chicago, Illinois area, was raised by a single mother as one of 5 children. She earned her MFA in poetry and PhD in literature from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Her work has been featured in several publications, including Riding Shotgun, which is a collection of essays edited by Professor Kaiser. Most recently, she was a lecturer in the African American and African Diaspora Studies Department at U of M Twin Cities, and she also taught at MCTC.
Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be talking about the poem as a spatial and temporal mapping of the human experience. What you see here is a picture of my mother, Taiyon Coleman. She died in 1997, and this is a picture of her in her hometown of Sparta, Illinois, somewhere in the 1960s when she met my father. You can see that she is young, she is hopeful, she is in love, she is beautiful. And she is a result of the potential of those who came before her, and I am a result of her possibilities that she created through her body and through her life. So you might ask yourself, how can a poem map human potential? And if you think about a map locates, it provides evidence, it also provides a record. We're interested in how we might look at objects and objectify those objects and put them in spaces and think about time and meaning. So maybe if something happened in 1977, but if I'm writing about it in 2014, how the meaning changes in very delicious ways to talk about the possibilities of understanding it now, but also understanding possibilities that existed when the poem took place that maybe in that time and place we could not understand. So I want to read you some of my poems. The first poem is Decay. And this poem is about my mother, and there she is right there, Taiyon Coleman. And it's about her tooth. Her front tooth turned black. And my mother, as you can tell, although I'm biased, was very beautiful. She was not a vain person. And as you can imagine, a single parent with 5 kids by herself on the south side of Chicago, working every day, she barely had enough time to feed and to clothe us, so she couldn't worry about her looks. That was not a priority. But for some reason, when this happened, she became very obsessed with it. And we did have insurance, and so she would go every Saturday morning, maybe for a month, to get it bleached, but the darkness would never turn. And when writing about the poem, I thought to myself, maybe life was telling her she had to have a marker or a map in order to evidence the possibilities that she gave us through her body. And this is called Decay. Your right front tooth is brown, and you are going to get it bleached, making early morning Saturday appointments because you can't miss work. A Dun & Bradstreet supervisor downtown behind a glass window with a yellow phone book on your metal desk. You sit drinking coffee, taking calls, and watching for workers slipping over the edge. Your dentist's office is near the place you put my C flute in layaway. $1,500 over 3 years, $41.66 a month plus interest, and I stopped playing at 18 over 8 years, $1,500, $15.63 a month with no interest. Your babies carry bone from your body, and your husband leaves you alone with 5 kids and only 1 damaged tooth at the root. And you are lucky that even in your knowing smile, and that even with insurance and many morning Saturday appointments, the darkness that's in your mouth will never turn. The next poem is titled Sister, and I am one of 5, and my sisters will probably kill me for saying this. I have recently discovered that I have about 2, 3 more sisters, right? That's why poetry is really fun. You can write about a lot of things. But the body itself can be a map. It is spatial because our bodies change. You can almost imagine that pregnancy, in a way, is the objectification of the human life. And also it's temporal because that change also is influenced by time. My oldest sister and I stayed the same age for 30 days every year. And when she became pregnant, It was a big deal because she was not married. And as you can imagine, growing up without a father and having struggled with that, that was the one thing my mother preached to us every day. Whatever you do, don't get pregnant. But my sister did. Yeah. And of course, it was a big argument. And let me put on top of that, we're also Catholic. And we were mad at my sister, and she decided to keep the baby. And we didn't speak during the entire pregnancy. And for me, it was amazing because watching her body change was a way that she moved away from me and she changed. If we are maps, it was that she was creating her own map or creating a new space that I could not go into because I was not pregnant. Fast forward 9, 10 years later, I become pregnant. And notice what I said about temporal time. It is only 10 years later that I think to myself, oh, I get it, I understand. And I wrote this poem, Sister, for my sister to say, I get it now. It is 3 months before you tell me that you are pregnant, and I give you names of clinics and sterile places where saving your life is easy, and people will agree that it is your choice to straddle a table like a cheerleader, to split your thighs wide so they will never ache from straightening your back, so that others won't notice your titties sagging even in a nursing bra. You refuse my offer, and we fight over your foolishness, thinking that love can come in a red bone that carries a college football all the way from Evanston, Illinois. It is 6 months before we speak again, and your face is round, eating heavy strawberries, draining in kitchen paper towels. Your pants unzipped and rolled down, hug your black hips, and we barely make eye contact. Through peripheral vision, I watch you carefully bend your back to safely reach your seat. You kick off your high-top Fila's that are worn over like hallway rugs, and they are out of style because you can't buy new ones. They are the only shoes that fit your feet that are swollen as holiday walnuts. And I think to myself that you, my sister, have never looked more beautiful.